Hey, what's up, everyone? We're here for our fourth interview of the Cerulean Project, year 4. This night we have a bunch of great guys with us that you might know from the Built Sideways podcast, and we'll get them on in here. What's up, guys? How's it going?
This is very different. We're not used to cameras. Just a bunch of voices.
It's all right. I've been trying to just tell people just listen to this sometimes because they're like, "Oh, I got to watch it too." I'm like, you can just treat it like a podcast. You don't have to. You don't have to watch people. Just talk to people. So, yeah,
It's
just
usually with
to it
this,
as you-
yeah,
Close
we're not
YouTube,
really doing
it stops
anything.
playing.
Yep.
Just minimize it, man. You gotta minimize it.
There we go.
True.
Yep. Well, welcome, guys. Tonight we've got Kyle, Clueless Gunpla Builder, Chris Pabs, Chris Pabby,
What up?
Bro
Thank you for having
Builder,
us.
Brian,
I'm back. I gotta do it this
And-
time. Yeah.
Starfinder Julio.
Yes. Peace be with you and amongst the stars.
Nice.
Chasing down all that milk. Milky Way,
That blue milk.
blue milk. Well, thank you guys for joining me tonight and for season 4 of Cerulean Project. It's an honor to have you guys here and always enjoy talking to you guys.
And the honor is ours.
Yeah, definitely.
This is like one of those yearly things that, I mean, personally, me anyway, I look forward to every year. Like the stuff that comes out, like the posts that you make for for the weekly stuff and like the creativity that comes at it from everyone is off the charts amazing. And the information you bring out too, man, is freaking cool.
Well, thanks for that. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that what everybody's putting out is really inspirational. It's fun to see. It's fun to see how everybody evolves too.
Yeah. Everyone's stepping up their games. I can't talk as much shit as I want to.
We're sweating.
Oh,
now.
you can,
We're
I
sweating.
can say, Julio, you can talk it, but you're just gonna get it back too. So.
Yeah, I really gotta like nitpick shit. Like really nitpick. It's fucked up. You didn't use the right shade of green, you sons of bitches.
Ooh, Julio, the rivet counter.
Man.
Put on his rivet counting hat, overalls. They come with it.
I'm gonna join the IPMS.
The rivet counter hat has no brim.
Julio walking around with a Pantone card. Blue, green? No. You're out. Disqualified.
Fuck this up.
Yeah.
Kick rock, kids.
This is not proper.
Although I think there will be some of that this year. We'll be like, that's not green. That's very clearly blue.
Yeah, clearly.
It's a tough one.
It's gonna be. I can't wait to see everything. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, man.
I had to do a backup project just because I was worried my Maddox was going to be too blue. So I was like, I better start building something else because I don't want to finish this and then be like, shit, this is blue. This isn't green.
Sorry. I don't know. That's the thing about green. Kind of blue.
It is.
It is.
It's kind of yellow too.
Yeah.
It's part
Yep.
part blue. It's also
It can
part
go a
yellow.
lot of ways. Yep. Yeah, it's been interesting too, though, seeing people starting to realize that they don't have to just paint their kit green. You're like, you can make grass green or use green lights or green eyes.
Yeah. I really liked that last year to see how the color orange was applied in certain builds. Having gone through some of your repostings, and then of course I have the publications as well to see the skillful application of it, where it's still very much a part of the build, but it isn't like an overwhelming, like this isn't like a traffic cone.
Yeah, exactly. I think that really kind of allows people to be more creative with it in a lot of ways, where they're not like, okay, well, it has to be, because they're like, what's the percentage? I'm like, just 1% has to be a color. Like, just it just has to be in there at some point. It doesn't even have to be on your kit. Like, you can have a gray monster on a green grass kind of diorama, and that's it. Like, so I think it really allows people to be like, oh, okay, yeah, like I can get more creative with this. Like, it's not as constrained. And it's been fun looking back on stuff. Like I'm with you, Brian. I look at the books a lot because it's just fun to
Yeah.
look back on it. But going back through and kind of highlighting them this year has been a lot of fun too. Seeing how far people have come, and then just like all just the different approaches that people have taken.
Yeah, getting that look back, it's always good.
I don't know what's happening
Have you guys
right now, but there was explosions outside. It's just sounding crazy out there. I doubt it's fireworks season anymore.
They're just celebrating you.
Oh yeah,
Uh, it's been raining here for like 3 days. So yeah, especially by me. It's been like sustained 25, 30 miles an hour winds for 2 days straight. Like I didn't go anywhere.
wow.
I was supposed to go to the hobby club meeting today. I didn't go anywhere because I wasn't
Driving
about
it.
to drive with. I can drive in it. I'm fine, but these people around me cannot drive in the rain.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm from the Midwest. It gets crazy out there, you know. It's supposed to be even worse out by you.
Oh yeah, people can't drive in the snow.
Yeah.
People cannot drive in the snow. And now in this little town, the road to the resort is a dirt road. So like they don't plow it or anything. So like it's just like it's people there's like you'll look at the reviews of the ski resort and people will be like, "Yeah, I drove the resort's great, but I drove off the road." And there's like a picture of their car down in the ravine and shit.
Oh, man.
Can't do that, man.
Oh jeez.
Trying to do that shit in a minivan. Wilding.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'll go up there and people be in like a front wheel drive Corolla or like a little Honda Civic just spinning out.
No.
And you couldn't even rent a
just-
Subaru or anything. Like, come on, guys. Let's do something with all-wheel drive here.
The greatest thing is half of those reviews of people with their car off the road are Subarus.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I don't know what to tell you then.
Yeah.
Look at that. You know how to drive.
Nope. I'm in 4-wheel high going up and down in a truck. I'm like, I don't even. And it's gotten loose before. You come into some of the corners and you start sliding. You're like, oh man, this is either going to work or it's not.
That's where the fun is.
Exactly.
Yee!
Let's call it
Yeah, we
that.
went to
We'll
Monster
call
Trucks
it.
last night. I was telling my wife we're going to drift around the hairpin turn that we have by our house this winter. Take her Jeep and drift it.
How did she feel about that?
I think she was down. She was more down for the Monster Trucks than she was drifting her own car. But
Of course. That's the thing. It's best to ask for forgiveness as opposed to permission in cases like that.
yes.
Yeah.
It's
least
very
that's what I've
specific
always-
cases, though. Like, very
Yeah.
specific. Let's be real clear on this. It doesn't always work.
No.
Understand?
Although I
It
think
helps
I-
if you don't. Yeah, it helps if you don't hurt the car too. But
Yeah, I think I burned all of those forgivenesses when I had my WRX and people were racing me all the time. So we'd leave dinner and I'd aid in digestion by doing a 0 to 60 onto the freeway racing a BMW or something. She wasn't happy.
that's fantastic. What fun.
I do miss that car at times.
Sounds like a ride.
Yeah, fun cars.
Yeah.
But I'm more a truck guy.
You know, as I'm
Come to
getting
find.
older, I am too, man. I want like I don't know if it's just part of the age thing. You know, I'm like in my mid 40s now, and like I don't know if it's it, like or what the deal is, but I've been like jonesing for a late 70s Ram or like a Bronco 2 or something like
Wow.
that.
Nice.
You know, from like 81.
I immediately
was-
think OJ Simpson
What?
when I hear Bronco.
Who?
OJ Simpson.
O.J. Simpson. Everybody does that. No,
Bronco immediately.
so I got to go for the
No.
Ram.
It's the Bronco 2, though, not the Bronco 1.
Yeah.
Uh,
Bronco 2.
I don't
You know, as a very spry 20-year-old, I don't know how I feel about all this truck talk.
1-year-old, you a lying ass mother. You got a kid.
As I get older, I start to feel the unmarked black van.
Oh,
Supposed to be white, man. It's white van.
Oh no, black you do crimes and nefarious shit.
Yeah.
White the white van is for bad crimes.
Maybe it's time you get out of Brooklyn, Julio. Just saying, buddy.
No. Become the
Time to
captain.
go.
What?
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Wilson Fisk.
Wilson Fisk.
This fleet of Black Astro vans.
Yeah. We're gonna rule this city.
Plymouth vans. There's a bunch of vans on sale on Bring a Trailer the other day from the 80s.
Shit. Cheap? Like $3, $4?
No, expensive.
Oh, fuck that.
But the Astro vans where it's at, if you can get one of those are like 4-wheel drive. People are turning those into like
Survival vehicles.
yeah,
Depends on which one it is though. Because like
true.
the older, the more modern they get, the less good they are for that fun
More
stuff.
plastic.
Yep.
Yeah. You want
They don't quite hold up as
van.
well.
Yeah, you want the 18 van really. Or those I think are they made by Suzuki or yeah, they're like a kind of like a van, kind of like a camper. They're like the wheels are kind of inset a little bit. And they often will have like roll cage elements to them and roof racks and shit.
Yeah.
The Delica?
I think that's what I'm thinking of.
Yep.
I don't know.
I think
the
it's a
name of it.
Mitsubishi.
There we go.
Mitsubishi Delica.
There it is.
Yeah, those things are badass. Those are 4-wheel drive. Like they were cheap for a while. Now they're expensive because everybody's like, "Oh, we got to get one of those." Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
It's the same with like all the early Toyotas and stuff, like the Toyota BJ and the old Land Cruisers and stuff. Those things are obnoxiously expensive now.
Well, yeah, because they don't die. Like
Yeah.
once they found out,
they
that you
run
can-
forever.
Yeah, when they found out you can run it over with a boulder 9 times and it still drives and you're fine. It's just like out of control.
Oh,
Well, and those BJs have a removable top.
that's cool.
Yeah, the Delica is swanktastic.
It really
One of my
is.
I just
one
had
of
to pull
my
some up
guilty
on my phone.
pleasures
Yes.
is watching kind of like van life people.
Yeah,
So
dude.
you would go. So there's this one guy. I can't remember the name of the channel, but he converted one of those like really small Suzuki pickups into like having a house in the back of the bed. So instead of like like a flat bed, now it's like a small house, and he takes it camping like everywhere up and down Japan. So he'll have like all different elements. He'll have like snow and rain and all that stuff, and he doesn't talk for like. So this is like an hour and 20-minute video. He doesn't talk at all. It's just him getting his dinner ready, going to sleep, waking up, digging his van out of or his truck out of the snow, and then drives off to the next camp. And it's like the most relaxing thing I've ever watched on YouTube ever. I fuck the ASMR shit. It's like it's just like this dude just like he's making himself like some ramen, and it's like this is the most aesthetically pleasing thing I've ever watched in my entire existence on this planet.
I can't watch
Just campfire
watch
crackling
these guys,
and
dudes. I can't do that. I don't know what it is, but I can't watch these guys crack eggs in cast iron pans and cook like an unwell cut meat. You know, like a piece of meat that looks like it was cut poorly. Like
if I can find it, if I find the channel again, Brian, I'll send it to you, and then you can be the judge and see if you.
I'll pass the iron hand of justice over that.
There you go. I don't know. Give him the iron pimp hand slam.
Yeah.
Those are one of those key trucks.
It is, yeah, it is, and he just made like a wooden house right on top of it. It's like,
Yeah.
Which is pretty rad, actually. I give that, thumbs up for sure.
Yeah.
it's very
Little
practical. I'm like,
flatbed.
man, if I
You
could
guys-
just live all of
You
this
guys
stuff.
ever heard of old time hockey?
Yeah, I watch hockey every year. Preseason starts in August, and go Rangers.
You're an Islanders fan, man. Stop lying to people.
I'm not an Islanders fan. Islanders
Fucking
get the fuck out of
Islanders
here.
fan
Oh,
over
yeah, you
here.
gotta say it right, all right? It's Long Guy Lin.
Long Island.
Long guy land is what that is. Ain't my
0
shit,
out of 10.
homie. Rangers 0 out of 10. Yeah, that guy for sure.
Did you play hockey, Brian?
I did not because I am very tall and was very, very thin. So it was not. I was not built for that.
It wasn't
I
on
didn't
the
have
cards.
a lot of, gravity worked against me on all fronts.
Yeah.
If I was on skates and the wind would come by, it would just blow me across the ice. Like there's nothing holding me down to the ground, or there was. So, my wife played hockey.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's pretty badass.
Bruiser.
'Cause she, I don't know what position she played exactly. I don't remember offhand, but she does have a condition where she doesn't sweat. So
Oh,
it was one of the only team sports she could play because it was on ice and was cold. Like she regulated her body temperature. She never got hot. Pretty crazy.
yeah.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
I imagine she just killed it. It was probably a really enjoyable experience. She's like,
Yeah,
not
it was
sweating.
great.
Everybody's out here. Like,
Yeah, she was like a she was like a teenager when she did that. She's always been a huge fan of hockey though, so
nice.
and baseball. She's the real sports fan. I'm the guy that sits at the model bench and builds funny
Sports
things.
ball.
But I'll watch a game. I like going to the ball games and stuff and going to the hockey matches. That's really where it is. I love to heckle the other team. That's like
There you go.
so fun.
You got to go to some soccer matches if you like that.
Oh, I don't want to get in a fight.
Some
though.
South American soccer matches. They get
Well, South
so
America, though,
crazy.
you probably wouldn't get in fights in South America though. The European League,
Oh,
I imagine there'd be more fisticuffs.
Yeah, it's probably pretty equal. The South American leagues are a
Yeah?
little bit more lawless, I would say.
Oh, really?
At least the matches I've been to. Yeah,
Okay.
they'll throw glass bottles at each other from the stands, and
Ooh.
there's another thing where they
Ooh.
take liter soda bottles and they fill them with piss and poke little holes in the side of them and then hang them over the side so it just drips piss onto you for 90 minutes.
Oh, sure.
That's so fucked up.
That is fucked.
Yeah, there's the derby in the El Clasico in Argentina, and the last time, this is actually a few years ago, River Plate and Boca, and the Boca fans held the stadium hostage for 3 hours.
Jesus.
They wouldn't disperse from the streets around there, so
Dang it.
they're hijacking buses to get to the match and stuff at knife point. They usually have
Oh,
1,500 cops
wow.
on hand for those things. So,
Yo, that is gnarly.
yeah.
That's
Yeah, I was watching the Madrid derby today between Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid, and they were joking about how all the Real Madrid fans were basically in like a chain link fence holding pen area. And they're like, "Yeah, the favor will be returned when they go to their stadium." It was just like, it's just nuts.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa. The rockin' fun zone.
very much so. When I went to the Boca Stadium, they're like, "You need to stay in this place because if you go lower, you're going to get hit with stuff from the visiting fans above. And then don't bring anything that can be used as a weapon against you." I was like, okay. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I took a disposable camera. Like, wasn't even going to take my regular camera. I'm like, I'll just take a
Oh, no.
disposable, snap some pictures. And yeah,
Yeah, you don't want anything thiefed out of there.
no, definitely not.
You gotta watch
they-
soccer in full body armor. It's fucking wild.
It's wild. Yeah, another fun fact about the Argentinian leagues, they're all owned by the mafia. So the different mobs or gangs in the neighborhoods. So like they'll just walk onto the field and beat the shit out of a player who during practice who performed poorly that week, kind of thing. It's crazy.
Ah.
There's a really cool article written about Argentine soccer a few years ago.
That's
Don't want to
nuts.
experience that. I'm good. Thanks, Ed. Go as hard as you want. I'll watch from over here.
Yeah.
Wild.
I don't know. It's fun. I don't know. Playing soccer in Argentina is a whole other game too, because it's like street ball. Like it's like that, like Brooklyn, like Harlem, like street ball kind of thing. You're gonna get bodied hard at some point into a chain link fence.
Oh yeah.
Wow. No, thank you.
Yeah, I've done some crazy shit in Brooklyn, I will say. That's for sure.
It's your fault. Fuck it.
We used to play cricket. We used to play cricket in the street. We used to play football in the street. You know, tackle each other into cars and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Car alarm goes off for fucking 10 minutes.
No. This is the industrial area of Williamsburg, the old holdover.
Yeah.
It's now it doesn't exist anymore. They leveled all those
Yeah.
buildings now, and they're all crappy high-rise condos. But
It's all Starbucks
yeah, every half a block.
and pizza shops.
No,
Welcome to
it's-
New York.
It was ridiculous though, because I spent so much time, 16 years, like in that area, working as the metal worker in those industrial buildings, and getting to know all the people around there, like the different auto shops, like the Spanish dudes that used to like rent basements from the guys that grew grass or whatever, and like just like fix cars that no other shop would fix, and they'd be bringing us stuff like cracked aluminum components and be like, can you fix this? And like they're broken English, and like, we'll try to fix it. You know? So, but yeah, that was kind of fun. Those are some interesting days back in the days, the Brooklyn days. Now I'm a domestic man.
Domestic man with a house close to the ocean. It's nice.
Yeah. Unconventional area.
Yeah. Well,
Not mad at it.
speaking of the information that Pabs called out earlier, this year we're doing stuff that's more approachable. You guys all probably have the books. I'm pretty sure everybody has the books.
No, sir.
Did you guys at all ever find that information was too clinical or unapproachable? Because this year I really wanted to make it more approachable and talk about wellness. And I don't know, I thought that you guys would be a great group too to kind of discuss the whole wellness epidemic that we have in this country as basically a Hallmark card. Everybody live, laugh, love, and all of that shit. But like, I still really feel that there's a lot of benefit to kind of understanding our wellness and from a non-commoditized or capitalized kind of product.
Yeah, I feel like wellness in this country or most of the Western Hemisphere really is kind of marketed as a veil almost, right? Like it's like you're not really focusing on bettering yourself. You're just focusing on projecting that you are better.
That's right.
Again,
The appearance.
Yeah,
Yep.
the appearance of being better, and that's a dangerous mindset, really dangerous because you're not you're putting on appearances, man. Like you're trying to keep up this facade and um be as rough as the information can be. It's I feel like something that we all need to hear and we all need to be informed. Um, maybe on a regular basis or on a scheduled timeline or anything or something, because it needs to be said. You need to hear it, and it can be blunt, it can be soft, it can be whatever, but you need to hear it. And yeah, and we need to stop. We need to stop it being a veil and it being an actual betterment of self instead of a facade.
Yeah. Because I feel like with that veil, so often there's not really anything that's actionable, right? Like it's just kind
Right.
of, or like it's very like high level, like just seek therapy. And you're like, well, yeah, but also like, how do I do that if I can't seek therapy? Or like, what should I expect from therapy? That kind of thing. Because I think when it's just like go to therapy, people are like, okay, I'll try it. And then they don't really have an understanding of like the process or like, what do I do if I have a shitty therapist? Or what do I do if like all of a sudden I have these realizations or I'm triggered in therapy? Like, how do you deal with those things? How do you communicate those things to your friends, like to your loved ones?
You
can
don't
understand them yourself,
put it in a bottle, you swallow it.
You swallow it, throw away the key. What key? What?
Yeah.
Keys and bottles, bro. You've been on the sea.
That's all it
You're
is.
a
Keys and
sailor.
bottles.
You know.
Yeah, Pabs the sailor, Yeah.
What do sailors say? I don't know. I did this for some reason. I'm not sure.
Hi ho, hi ho. Like, no, it's
That's the dwarves, man.
it's the dwarves. It's
Yeah, that's the white man. Come on.
They're at sea at one point, weren't they? No.
One of them sounds like they were, right?
You say heave ho. How about that?
Heave ho. Heave ho. That's what I was thinking about. Yes.
Yeah,
Heave ho.
like the Pirates of the Caribbean. But yes, sometimes it feels like that. Sometimes you feel like you're lost at sea a little bit, and even though you're still on course and you're trimming the sails and all the cords are nicely wound, you don't know where the fuck you're going.
You guys got a boat? I got a couple of logs, like a t-shirt on a string.
I feel like I'm just treading water. Like I fell off the boat. Like,
oh no!
I was heading somewhere and admiring the view and slipped over the side, and now I'm just like, shit.
Damn, man overboard.
Oh man.
Yep.
It's the worst. Ship pulled out from underneath.
Yep.
I think that even though they're pushing all this bullshit of check your health and all this and all that, I feel like it is becoming more mainstream, but that's even makes it easier for you to talk to people about it.
Yes.
Whether you're looking for attention or you're actually like trying to get better, one way or another, someone's going to see that you have a problem at some point. Hey, man, you okay? Oh, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. And I think that you know, you touch on that where it's like it's so much is out there, and like, yeah, you have to disseminate between like kind of what's the fluff and what's like the actual meat that's being, you know, that is accessible out there. But just the fact that it's even being talked about and discussed, and it's not just like men don't cry. And I don't know, we kind of covered some of this when I talked to you guys a few years ago, but it's just, you know, I think it's more and more it's becoming a bigger and bigger conversation that people are having, and that people are able to take like disability leave or um, things within just the workplace that can kind of facilitate wellness.
Yeah, mental health days.
Hmm.
You just really want to stay home and watch TV.
Catch up on Ahsoka.
Yeah,
Yeah, and sometimes that's maybe what we need.
yeah.
Like we
Sure.
just burn out, and it's just kind of like I just need to stay home today. Like I don't want to run the
Well, you
rigmarole of
know,
work. And
right? Yeah, no one's a stranger to those obligations we feel like we have to fulfill. You know, for others, really. Like I spent a lot of time working for, um, I mean, and I don't want to like talk a bunch of shit on people, but like
Yo, stop
working
shit talking,
at,
bro.
well, yeah, good luck, right? But like working for people that were underappreciative, or like thinking that or feeling like I was appreciated like at the time, but upon retrospect, looking back and seeing how like far off the mark I was, and how much I overly compromised myself and sacrificed parts out of my own life, like things that made my own personal life much more difficult and things that still impact me now, because I was a fucking company man to the bitter fucking end. Like, your company is you. When it comes down to it, you're the only thing you start out with, and you're the only thing that you leave this world with. So, like, you have to. It's not easy either, but you have to like learn to really like that it's
Disseminate.
okay, or even that it's okay to fucking like want, that shit for yourself. You're not,
yeah,
you know, anxiety problems.
Yeah, you always tell yourself you're okay, and really you're like,
yeah,
the fuck.
It's because
hmm,
you've trained yourself to say it.
Yeah,
I think a
yes,
lot of people have trained themselves to say I'm fine when you're not. And people are expecting you to say I'm fine
yeah,
because
yeah,
that's the norm, even if you're not. Um, in today's kind of work culture and work balance, especially with how skewed it's been during and after the pandemic, it's like it's more imbalanced now than ever. We've brought our work home, and they've normalized that. We've normalized bringing work home and not turning off and not shutting off.
Right.
The saying used to be, when you're at work, put the coat on, but when you're not at work, take the coat off. Now the coat's on constantly. It's
yeah.
hard
Those
to figure
those
out.
boundaries have just been blurred even more.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah. Everybody's got a smartphone. You're just one click away from being like, why didn't you answer the company email? Why didn't you, do any of this other stuff? And it's just
right.
like, or like, I know you're doing great, and you're on all, firing on all pistons and doing a smashing job and making us, hand over fist on dollars. But what I'm going to need you to do is do just a little bit more. And if you do good enough for me by my judgment, then I might give you a raise. And that's like,
Maybe like,
might, maybe there's a lot of heavy lifting going on by a few fucking choice words in there. And yeah, that's like, it's tough.
Yeah.
well, and I
Carrot on the
think to your
stick.
point earlier, Brian, about how like, you know, you're like a company man, right? So like even then you hadn't really set up these boundaries to kind of take care of
Yeah.
yourself. And so, you know, the pandemic hits and those boundaries get blurred even further. And I feel like it just pushes us kind of even further into that hole where like, okay, yeah, I'm going to answer this email at 9:30 at night. You're just like, no, like just stop. Like, you know, don't
Right.
work on a Saturday, don't work on a Sunday. Like take that time for yourself where you can then reinvest. You can work for yourself. You can reinvest in yourself.
Even if it's just like building some models to
Yeah.
like, but being able to commit yourself to that solely, without it being like, all right, I think I can squeeze in 15 minutes to snip out a couple parts and clean a couple nubs today. That'll give me a little bit of levity. Like, man, that's, you're chasing a dangerous, dangerous thing, needing that kind of a path,
Yeah. Well, because you're starting out at a deficit, right? So if you're kind of just throwing stones at this deficit, you're never really going to create that kind of the wall that you need. Like it's just always going to kind of be like, oh well, yeah, it's not filling up. Like, okay, like this is just it, and you just come to accept it. And kind of like Pabs was alluding to, like we've kind of been conditioned. It's kind of just been this whole. We've been trained to do it.
Break the cycle, man.
Yeah.
The frustrating thing about it is we're at that cusp too of like breaking that cycle. We're right there, but there's still
Really
kind
are.
of like the old heads just holding back, right? Like, don't use your PTO, don't take mental health breaks, don't do any of that stuff. Keep working, man. Work hard, work till you're dead, and then you'll be well remembered for at least a day or so. We'll say, rest in peace. And it's messed up, man. And I don't blame those old heads for thinking the way they think, because that's how they've lived, that's how they were taught. But flexibility and knowing when to accept new knowledge and new skills, and knowing how people work now is an important part of leadership. And
Yes.
those guys are just not bending, and they're not adapting, and they're not going with the flow of the time. And it's frustrating, because we're just right there, man. If you just had certain people just start to accept the fact that things are going to be different now, um things would be, I think, a lot better, at least in that culture. But
I mean, that's literally what has kind of been happening and led us to this point, is that is been a generational shift, and it's kind of effed up to say, but time is the thing that is going to change that faster than anything else. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
it's
I
Mike
know.
Basket
I
out
mean,
there.
again, we're talking about a generation that wouldn't talk about feelings, or wouldn't talk about, like having mental health, or even just going to therapy. Like, hey, if my manager went to therapy, they'd probably be more understanding of my need to go to therapy, or to have a mental health day, or to take vacation. It would be more kind of, again, I think we've just been conditioned that, like, if you take time off, you're being lazy, like you're not getting something done. And it's like, well, no, like taking vacation, having time to yourself, getting up and walking away from your desk for 20 minutes has so much benefits. I mean, studies are showing that the 4-day work week is just as productive, if not more, for multiple verticals out there.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Oh, I can. We did that actually. At the shop I used to work at, we didn't. Well, it wasn't 4 days, but we did 8 to 5 with a 1 hour lunch break. So it was like not a full. Is that right? 8 to 5. Is that still 8 hours? Can't remember. I think it is.
Yeah.
That's still 8 hours. But on Fridays we would only work from 8 till noon, and so we would have the second half of Fridays off. We started doing that early on in the shop, as like the place was growing, because I started working with these dudes that didn't know what the fuck they were doing really, and growing them, building the business model. That was one of the best decisions I think that they ever did. Like, one hot summer was slow, it was like, you know what, we're gonna go swimming at the reservoir, take Friday off, and I'm like, I'm skating. And they just stuck with it because it worked for morale, it worked for all these things. I worked salary, I still got paid 40 hours a week, even though I was only working 36 hours a week, which is a plus as well. But
Yeah.
yeah,
like,
I feel like that was a big benefit.
my old supervisor called that summer hours. So essentially, like,
Right.
whenever it was summertime, we would have that where we'd work. Well, I worked 7:30 till 4, and then on Friday it would be 7:30 till noon. And like, that extra 4 hours of just being able to have the rest of the day, and not leave work at, like, when the sun's already down or whatever, right? It just made you
Yeah.
feel like so much more refreshed and ready for, for anything else. It was like, I don't have to worry about work for, the next, God, I don't know, 48 plus 4, 50 hours or whatever. It was just refreshing, and it made you feel like you were ready for the next week.
You had mentioned it on a podcast, one of our episodes, Chris, a couple of, oh gosh, months back. how you were on vacation and how much brighter the day
Yeah.
was getting up.
I said, fuck it, right? And took like like whatever, how many days I had. Like I had a week left and of my PTO for this year, and my wife was like, "Let's just take it. I know we're not really gonna go anywhere. We're not gonna take that super expensive vacation or whatever. But let's just take it. We'll use it to enrich Parker's day or week, and we'll just go out and have fun." And I have, yeah, but like it was like a weight off my shoulders, like not having to worry about work the next day or the next day or the next day, and and then just taking the time to just really enjoy being a parent, being in a happy marriage, and like being able to feel financially secure enough to be able to have fun, going to a water park and going to a theme park and all that stuff. Just it just gave me that boost of energy that I've been lacking for like a good like 6 months. It was rough, man, for a while.
Yeah, your brain needed it.
Yeah.
And it's really easy.
Did you
to
have like
slip-
did you have like a breaking point or anything where you're like, I have to do this? Or was it your wife that kind of pushed you to do it? Or was it just like, you're just like,
I
fuck,
think
I can't do this anymore? Like,
I think it was really more of like a domino effect. Like my so I was really good. I really had a really good relationship with my supervisor at work. Who and then I spoke about him in the podcast, but he took he took great care of like the environment that we were in to make sure it was very creative, that we could speak our mind, and he was very kind of flexible, understanding about everybody's situations. And he left because our CEO is not particularly very flexible. Um, and that was part of the breaking point. The second breaking point was we hadn't had a vacation in like 2 years at this point, like not even like
wow.
almost like a single day. Like I had been working like to the bone um for 2 years. Parker, like my son was born, I had like 2 weeks of paternity leave, and then it was back to work. And that wasn't really taking a break per se. It was that was like I can't work because I have to stay up and take care of this little human being. So no vacation, no nothing. As soon as paternity leave was over, it was back to work. And even then, my paternity leave, when Parker was born, was also my PTO. So we didn't have like separate paternity leave and PTO.
That
So
sucks.
yeah, so it was all just meshed together. And yeah, I mentally I had not been able to take a break in that 2 years. And and even though I only really had a week of PTO remaining, it still gave me at least a little bit of a recharge. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping to do that a little bit more often moving forward.
Is it something you've thought about like scheduling or kind of just being like, okay, like every time at this time of year, we're just going to take it off and
I think it's really more listening to myself, my wife, my kid. Like we have to listen to our ourselves. Like we have to listen to, okay, I need it now. Like we need to do
yeah.
this now, or I need this now. I don't know if you need it right now, but I do. Um, and to not be afraid to take it. Doesn't matter what's going on at work. It doesn't matter if there's a quote crisis. If I need to take this time to be me and to recharge, then I will take it because that is my right to, and I need it.
Yep.
I haven't been in that mentality for a while, and it's been a bit of an imbalance. So it's definitely time to kind of take that initiative and be like, okay, I need this time for me. And I think that is the healthiest way to move forward. Because if we schedule it, it's just it would just be me counting the days to it, and I think
Right.
it would be less
Anxious as
less
hell.
effective.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's easier for me to be just like, okay, I need to listen to my mind, listen to my body, see whenever I need it, then take it.
And then you get
That's good.
anxiety about filling up that rest time with stuff. Like I should be doing this. I should be doing that. It's always
Yeah.
fucking
I have all
pressure.
this time now. Like, yeah. And which is so counterproductive to actually taking that time off.
Yeah. Fucking wild. Human brain
Yeah.
is not meant for rest.
What do you think, Kyle? I mean, you've been kind of
Oh,
being situated
sorry.
Very
right here.
stoic. Yeah, very stoic, Kyle.
Sorry, I was
Kyle's been
working on
smoking.
something and then you guys were chatting up. I didn't want to interrupt. But no, Pabs brings up a good point, like taking time off, and Julio brings up an even better point. I've been known for taking vacation days just to do something else, like stuff around the house or do other chores. Um, and that's been a problem for me as well. Where actually this past earlier in the year, I took a week off, and we actually had a vacation rather than a staycation to do house chores. Where the wife and daughter went to Disney. I hadn't done a trip like that in years because I felt I couldn't do that because every year while I was in the military, I had to do 3 weeks of annual training. And that's enough time for me being away from work where I'm like, well, what's another week? Like, I don't want to do that. I can't be gone for, 4 weeks in a given year. And now that I'm no longer in the military, it felt nice to actually be able to take a vacation unashamed or, without guilt. But even then, now I'm thinking of taking vacation in November just so I can work on stuff around the house because the weekends go by quicker than shit. I barely get time to do anything because we also want to have fun on the weekends, and every task takes 4 hours just to set up, and then 2 hours to do it, and then 4 hours to clean up. And with that, you don't really get a lot done. It's hard to do all the things we think we're supposed to do as adults in this day and age. There's only so much in a 40-hour week, and yet we keep adding and adding to our honey-do list per se, between work and hobbies, and everything starts to feel like a taxing activity that you have to try to force into your schedule rather than just let it sit naturally. And that's something I want to actively get better at, though I probably won't in the next few years because I have so much I got to do. Maybe after the honey-do list is dropped off, then I can start from a clean slate. But yeah, it just seems like the things we're supposed to take care of as adults is never ending. Thankfully, my wife is not one to hang it over my head for too long, so she lets me do it at my own pace.
Nice.
Well, I feel like sometimes things just kind of have to you almost have to decide like it's okay if this gets missed. Like it's okay if this kind of slides this week because ultimately I need a little bit more time or my family needs a little bit more time kind of thing. Like I'm just not ready to kind of, I don't know. It's weird. I feel like the hustle culture has infiltrated our like livelihood in so many ways that it's like we're at home. So it's like, well, if we take time off, we got to get all these things done kind of thing. And it's like, well, while I'm a big proponent to saying putting everything off till like I'll do it tomorrow, sometimes I think that can be beneficial where you're like, I'll get to it later kind of thing. Like, does this need to be done right now? Or should I do something for myself right now?
That's actually a really interesting thing to bring up because that finding the balance between those two things, I suppose, or at least I could think of it as like a thing with honesty, where like I need to be truly honest with myself about the stuff. And I used to talk about that a lot when we started out doing the podcast about being honest with yourself about your opinions and honest with yourself about your work. And that's where a lot of people get hung up when people like, criticize their model is they aren't being very honest with themselves about the stuff that they've done. Like all the shit that we talked about going on with the Porsche or whatever, like that kind of stuff. You have to be really honest about it and share it. Talked about it this last Thursday on the live stream. Someone was like, wow, people wouldn't normally talk about that. And I'm like, well, who benefits from that? Like you don't benefit from only seeing the wins. You got to see the fails, how it was tried to be fixed. It all has to be very transparent, in my opinion, for growth anyways, and it's helping me grow because the more I force myself to fully face my shit, like my whole bag of shit, stinky and all, full as it gets, the better I feel about the whole situation in the end, and the more of an actual positive resolution comes from the problem. Because avoiding or hiding or any of these other things or whatever it might be, like you may come to a resolution, but you still hurt from that, and that stuff builds up. Like it doesn't go away. At least for me, it doesn't. So
it's all there. It's still a wound. It's got a little scab on it.
Yeah. Like you guys have to realize that, or I don't know if you guys realize this, but like the only person benefiting from you working yourself to death is not you.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're not benefiting from it, man. Like, you know, at the end of the day, it's great that you get that sense of accomplishment, that you managed to accomplish something throughout your day. That's great. You know, give yourself a pat on the back. It's a great job. But you're like killing yourself over this work. You're not. You're lining someone else's, and yeah, you gotta kind of have to think about that. Kind of, how does that benefit you, know, mentally anyway? Like, obviously, you know, work because you have to pay bills and stuff. But, you know, mentally, where does it leave you? And if it leaves you in a place where you feel your day is bleak, you're not looking forward to the next day,
Mhm.
it fills you with anxiety, then you're not benefiting from it. Well, why do it?
But yeah, it's kind of like you're benefiting the deficit of self,
Yeah.
which is a
It's
dangerous game to play because you'll burn out. It's
Yeah.
not sustainable.
you gotta be careful.
It's true.
Yep. Do you guys do anything else as like wellness to refill your well outside of kind of like hobbying or
Having the
vacation?
yard for me
Nice.
has been super duper cathartic. That, and I was like a landscaper for like 3 years, so I also have that itch to make it better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get out there and I get on the ground and I dig around in the ground and I move stuff around and I change things and I improve the world around me. You know, try to make things as healthy as I can and add things. Like this year, I started buying flowers and planting flowers, which is like different but awesome at the same time because you can get cool butterflies and like other interesting things around the house. It's different, kind of like getting back to touch. I lived in Brooklyn, like in the heart of the city, in the second floor of a brownstone for like a decade. I lived on the fourth floor or third floor of a loft building for like half a decade. There's not a lot of room for yards and gardens and like where I came from growing up in Iowa, like that huge shift, the whole
Yeah, it's
that whole thing. Yeah, so like being
such a
able to get back
contrast.
into that, dude, that has been super duper healing for me, and it's a thing where I've actually been a little bit. I've been spend more time like, not more time, but I find myself more often just putting off what I'm doing on the workbench to like go out and like rake the yard and like prune the bushes and like look around at the trees and stuff. So yeah, it's I don't know, probably sounds hokey, but fucking works. So
It does. It really does. I think getting your hands in the dirt, at least for me, it really does. Like investing in like perennials, understanding perennials, creating like small pollinator kind of gardens, because then it brings in this life and like you kind of see as the seasons change and there's just kind of this influx of stimulus. I think that really can be beneficial to the psyche,
yeah, I couldn't agree more.
especially after living in the city. Like being in the city, being in a brownstone, like it's a whole other, like I was in San Francisco for a decade and getting out to the headlands, riding my bike 30 miles out to the headlands was just like a breath of fresh air because it was just like get out in the
Hell yeah.
trees and on the beach and stuff like that. But when we moved out of California, out of the city, and it was really about investing in the yard, and I found that was just a great place to be. It's really satisfying. So I'm glad you have that.
Yeah, me too. I always hear Chris complain about having to do the yard stuff.
Well, he's
listen.
complaining about mowing the yard, right? You got the dissertation and how to mow the yard or get the grass as healthy as it should be.
Oh, dude. Yeah, no, we're terrible. I'm terrible. But we never hear much from Kyle.
Oh, okay. So this is kind of in line with what you guys are talking about, but I wanted to make mention of it tonight. But the practice of the attitude of gratitude has been something that I've been trying to apply more to kind of, I don't know, handle life stressors per se. So I've talked about this repeatedly through the time that we've recorded, how currently for my job, I'm in the process of building a new hospital for a general contractor, and it has been a very taxing process. I mean, it's a large project in itself, but this particular project has had its share of issues. On some anomalies that most people in this industry probably don't normally deal with. And it's weighed a lot on me, you know, being new to this industry and never having worked in the medical field in terms of construction. This project has been a you know, dare I say, a war of attrition where I'm learning as much as I can, but also trying to apply what little knowledge I have to keep this boat afloat and to be a effective team member. And up until recently, it was very difficult not to hate going to work. You know, oh shit, this again. And you know, I as a kind of off humor joke, oh, that's Crown Point for you. You know, that's our hospital. Shit's gonna go wrong. It's kind of a given at this point. And in that kind of negative speak, I forgot that I'm building a hospital, something that is a career once, if not no one ever does in their careers in terms of construction.
Right. Right.
Even in this company's lifetime, we've only built 3 hospitals in the 100 years we've been in existence.
Right.
We've remodeled a few, but so to be on the team as building the second hospital in the last decade, I have to remind myself that is a good opportunity to be in, even if it is a very difficult opportunity. Because this is something I get to drive by and point to my daughter. I helped build that hospital, and I could be proud of that. We got through the trials and tribulations of that project, and we survived. Because at the end of it, that's what it is. You know, I'm still gonna have a job, if it's working for this company or not. I'm still gonna be alive. Like all these problems that I kind of bear on myself aren't really the end all be all. Like I shouldn't hold so much feeling to it, and I should focus more on the kind of, I don't know, positive aspects of that. And you know, that's kind of the other things too. Like even though I don't feel super confident in the job I have a job. I know I'm going to have a job tomorrow, and this job helps support my family. I mean, Amy and I just went to Barnes and Noble yesterday and probably spent an egregious amount of money on books and board games. And I had to take a step back and go, you know, it's great that I can do that, you know, and I can go buy groceries afterwards. I can, you know, we're living our best life. Are we rich beyond belief? No, but we can go out and spoil ourselves every now and then, still pay the bills, still pay groceries, and I don't have to worry about the next paycheck, whether it's going to come in or not. And I feel like in this
A
day and age,
luxury.
it's you have to like cling to those little battles because there's so much negativity, not just in our own personal lives, but in the world as a whole, with, you know, politics and laws and just the whole state of, I don't know, America and the world. Like it doesn't seem nice or good. So sometimes we get lost in that sauce, and it helps to have some self-reflection and actually, you know, count your blessings. I'm still alive. I have a family. You know, I'm paying my bills. I get to buy toys and all that stuff.
Right.
You know, I have great friends. It's these things that I need to focus on more. And, you know, the kind of whole, you know, the attitude of gratitude. It's quite powerful when you actually put thought into it.
It really is. And I think you made a point about how, like, you know, there's all this stuff going on in the world, and that's so easy to overshadow these small moments that we can be so grateful for, whether it's working in the yard, buying a board game, hanging out with, you know, our loved ones, things like that. It's so easy because it feels like an onslaught, I think. And you have work and all these other things. It's so easy to do it. So if you can take that time to have this attitude of gratitude, or just acknowledge it at the end of the night, whether it's journaling or saying it out loud, or whatever it is, like communicating it to your partner, can be really beneficial to our state of being, and really kind of change our focus, shift the lens, shift the focus of like how we perceive life.
Agreed.
You guys are doing dope shit, and I'm just using escapism, traveling the stars.
There's nothing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
Like, like playing.
That's
I mean, I
productive.
do it. I do it too. You know,
Yeah.
I play video games every now and then. Like I play. I was playing Starfield. I was playing. I'm currently playing Liza P. And I play Street Fighter every now and then, and it helps kind of just. It's not an escapism per se, but it's indulging in someone else's creativity.
Yeah.
Because you know you've got art directors, you've got you know, designers and programmers who have poured like their hours and their blood, sweat, and tears into these games, and you're just indulging in their creative juices, which is sounds a little bit gross, but it's
Oh, but you're right. Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
fun romp though. Like I
Agreed.
there are things that I've seen in some of these games. I'm like, man, I would have never thought of that. How did you think of this?
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
in turns, it inspires you to kind of, all right, well, how do I implement this into something I'm doing? It's cool, man. It's a cool way to do that. So I wouldn't call it escapism, Julio. You're just dipping your toe in someone else's juices right now.
That's not how I take that.
Well, you make a good point, Chris, because like I think escapism has been a term that's been kind of a blanket for a lot of these things, where we're indulging in things that bring us joy, right? Whether it's
Yeah.
creating these worlds on our bench, creating worlds in video games, creating worlds out in the yard, things like that. Like you could say, yeah, you're not addressing like work, you're not addressing situations at hand, so it's escapism. And I call bullshit on that. Like I think escapism is the extreme of that, right? Where we're only going to video games as only an outlet because that's a way to kind of just leave the world behind versus actually taking the time and being like, hey, I want to indulge in this activity that I find joyful, that I find inspiring, that I find, I'm in awe of because of all of these people who have worked on this and created something really beautiful that I can be a part of, whether it's just playing it or experiencing it, allowing it to inspire me to take it back to my own world. And so, like I definitely, have had issues before with like, oh, it's just escapism. Like I just use video games as escapism. And I had to really reframe that and understand that I'm doing it because it's something that I cognitively was like, I want to do this. Like I want to go and indulge in this because it brings me joy and it brings me a sense of happiness. And I don't really have to think about shit. I can just focus on this. And so I don't know. I implore everybody to kind of look at it and not necessarily devaluate these experiences that we're having by just denoting it to escapism, but really being like, I'm doing something that really brings value to my life.
Yeah. I mean, like for example, like there. Let me think about this real quick. So there is I was playing. What was I playing recently? I was playing Exo Primal with these guys. So I was playing
I was
with
just gonna
Brian,
ask.
Kyle,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was playing Exo Primal with these guys, right?
Playing the shit
And
out.
I'm not like I mean, I was tired. I was sleep deprived, and I had work the next day, so I was dreading going to work the following day. But I took the time out to play with these guys, and it helped. Like what's the word for it? Alleviate some of the stress and the worries, and I wasn't escaping like my current situation. It was like a little bit of creamer and that super strong cup of coffee, essentially, right? Where it just lightened things up a little bit, gave it a little bit more of a sweet boost, and helped me carry on through the next day. So I wasn't escaping my current situation. It just helped. Uh, it helps sweeten the deal a little bit more.
Yeah, it's like the old introvert extrovert take a penny leave a penny theory, right? Where like they say that introverts wake up in the morning with a handful of pennies every time they have an interaction. They give a penny away. An extrovert wakes up with none and gains a penny every time they have an interaction with somebody. So we end up at the end of the day is different. My wife is very introverted. I am very extroverted for the most part. Even though I have my moments. Anyhow.
My wife and I are both introverts, so we just hoard those pennies all day. All fucking day.
So Parker and I, man, so I'm making Parker and I are gonna make that grappling gun with the suction cups. Man, oh, can't wait. I gotta get like researching books, like Baby's
all
First Physics.
Damn pennies.
Do you guys find that your outlets change over time? Like what speaks to you and like what you want to kind of indulge in?
Yeah. I mean, if we use video games as as an example here, if we're staying with Julio's theme, I would like greatly indulge in a good chunk of Japanese RPG goodness. Right, a couple years ago, sit down 60 plus hours, like just from the when the sun comes up to till the sun comes up again, essentially. Like I would play Japanese, a good JRPG, man. Like Xenoblade Chronicles,
Okay.
Final
Oh
Fantasy,
man.
you name it, man. Like I played it, and those were my bread and butter. But as I got older and time kind of becomes a bit more of a precious commodity, I had less and less time to kind of indulge in that and to devote to it. So I was like, okay, well maybe there's something else in that scape that I could use to enjoy more in chunks and stuff. So kind of like the action adventure genre or a little bit of Resident Evil here and there. Kind of survival horror. Just stuff like that where I can pick up and put down a little bit easier. Because if it was like a big massive story with a big massive arch and if I stopped playing for even like a day, I'd totally forget what I was doing. That's rough, man. I can't do that. So some quick pick up and plays have been really helpful, and I've kind of enjoyed that just a little bit more than like the massive overarching stories of certain things. Yeah.
No, you're
I
right.
guess-
When like Final Fantasy VII came out, it was really easy to just sit up with the homie or the girlfriend or whatever until 2, 3, 4 in the morning because it's very low tax for
Mhm.
stuff, but it is actually enriching, and you get all these little chemical drips in your brain that are
Mhm.
really really good for the soul. I have indulged a lot in video games. To stick with the video game thing, a little too much at times, and there have been long stretches where I will just be like, I'll just stay away from playing games. Like my wife will come to me and say, "Why don't you play some video games or do something different, for a change?" And that's good. It's good to have a balance like that. I'm lucky to have her around to help push me a little bit here and there, poke me every once in a while. So that's a benefit too, and a luxury to have that. I'm lucky for that. Yeah, grateful.
It was great too that she's supportive of that. I think a lot of people might struggle with
Dude,
that in their times. Or
ass straight the f up, fuck up. Yes, brother. Because we both are of each other too. She is a reader and a collector of books. We have books on books on books on books, and I like
Nice.
books too, as most people know. But I am a mere pleb when it comes to talking about book collections compared our literary chutzpah. Pat probably has the same deal because Laura also is a book aficionado as well. So
my wife is too. Lots and lots of
Oh.
books.
Oh,
Tons
yeah?
of books.
You guys live in
Yep.
libraries like me. I got you.
Yep.
You. I don't mind it. I've always thought it was cool to live in the library.
Oh yeah. Yep.
There's
No,
like-
it's
there's
fun.
like
It's fun to
a-
see.
There's like a part in the house that the sun doesn't touch. I'm not allowed to go there. So she reads. It's
The sun doesn't.
Is this the library?
I'm not allowed to go there.
We're not allowed to go there. I tell Parker, we're not allowed to go there, son.
You have like these cases with like these big heavy doors and all these chains over them and these weird macabre or archaic looking locks and things that require
it's
large
like,
steel keys. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like one of those like what do you call those, like those forbidden gates in those young
Yeah.
adult novels, It's there. Can't touch it. Not allowed.
Nope, not allowed.
Nope. Stay out.
Every
No,
time we're
libraries are
watching,
good. They're inspirational.
every
Good.
time we're watching a fucking home improvement show or something, or like a like say we watch My Lottery Dream Home on HGTV, right? So just talk about TV for a half second. You get to see these people that are usually like down and out. They win the lottery, whatever amount it is, couple $100,000 or $1 million. Fantastic amount of money. That's fantastic. You feel really good for these people because they have these stories that you hear that often are, it's all cultured because it's television, right? But they're are curated for that matter. But the stories that they tell, and then the fact that they get this like reprieve, they get this benefit, and then the host takes them around and shows them a bunch of different shows, regardless of where it is. I guarantee that in every one of those places, at least one, if not twice, she chimes in, "Oh, that's a library game room. That should be a library game room." Oh yeah. Oh yeah, library game room. Oh, in the bar, absolutely, library game room. Just like,
I know what she's getting for Christmas.
Yeah, I was about to say, it looks like you have a library game
Oh.
room in your future.
I mean, you know me, and I'm a handy guy. I'll build a house. Fuck it, like.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, someday.
Well, it's all
man,
time too.
someday.
Like sometimes it's just time and
that's
place. I
literally
mean,
yeah, that's literally it. It's all, and that's the thing. Time is expensive, right? Ideas are free,
mhm.
and it's great to share ideas. Don't be afraid of them. Don't be afraid to share them, right? But the problem is, time is expensive. So
It is. Well, things take time. I mean, my wife and I both aspired to be like, let's have a library at one point, like let's have a game room at one point. And it wasn't until this most recent house that we like moved in. We're like, this is going to be our library and game room. And it was like, she bought a pinball machine. I got a stand-up
oh wow,
arcade, like set up a whole
nice.
toy case of all our vintage toys, like have a big wall of library, big books.
That's fantastic.
She goes in and arranges them by color, which is really cool to see.
Oh, that's sick.
Great for the
Like chroma?
dopamine. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Mhm.
that's
dig
that's a
that.
joy right there, man. Yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
Exactly. So it's just like I think it's good to aspire to these things too, where it's like these things really speak to you. And like I think too often a lot of times people also get caught up of like it's not happening now, which is totally fine. Like,
True.
our life is full of change, right? Like at some point we lived in a city, and another point we live in a house, and like it can get more rural. It's just kind of really what you want, and then just taking those steps to kind of meet that. Same with taking time off of work or at the bench or our hobbies, our interests, our
Right.
outlets. Like I struggle with that because I have too many outlets. There's too many things that I want to indulge in. So it's like, how do I balance those?
Let me I can't believe I didn't even mention this. The podcast is actually a great kind of outlet too, truthfully.
True.
So Built Sideways
Yeah.
has been um like a real great place to just hang out with friends and talk. Whether or not we're recording or we're doing B-roll or we're doing non-recorded B-roll. It's literally, and I say this as the guy who edits these episodes. Like even without editing the episodes, even when they're uncut and you're listening to it, you literally, it just sounds like you're sitting at a table with these guys and they're just talking, and it's the most like it's like the most what's the word for it, the most comforting thing ever, because you're just sitting there and you don't have to talk, you don't have to talk back to them, but they're just talking in your ear, and it's so comforting sometimes. And you're like, okay, like and then, they're talking, at some point they start talking about the topic, and they start talking shop, and it's like, and even though I'm part of the conversation, it resonates because it's still something that we're all interested in. It's part of the stuff that we enjoy. It brings us joy. So yeah, the podcast has been a great kind of way to just unwind. Honestly, like even though it does bring a little bit of anxiety, because I gotta edit
Mhm.
these and these guys wrangle these guys in somehow.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
been
as a
good.
listener, it seems like you guys are all really, it seems like it's a very kind of positive experience, something that you all look forward to, despite everything that you have going on in your life.
Yeah.
So I think
Julio,
to
I
your
don't know.
point of like, it just feels like hanging out.
Julio, yeah.
Julio is always ready to drop some pee pee poo poo on
Oh, every day.
the mic. Like,
I try.
Yeah.
He drops it. You guys just don't hear it. That's the problem.
yeah, it all gets cut out unless you
I don't
listen to
have
the
a
table.
I don't have like a desk chair. I just sit in one of those like old people toilet seats.
with the wheels on it
Yeah.
that roll around.
Oh
It's got like a toilet seat on top of it.
Yeah.
Just roll around on that shit. Dropping
Bedpan
shit all
under.
day.
No, I think that actually what happens, it's just really kind of a weird phenomena, is that Julio will be active in the B-roll and prior to the chat, and then when we start to talk about stuff, he doesn't talk.
It's like we tired him out.
Yeah.
It's like we tired him out.
I blew my
He's all-
load too
he'll-
early.
He's all out of pennies. He doesn't get it. No more.
I hear there's pills for
Came
that.
there. Yeah.
No, not pennies, not pennies. No, but I think that, to be candid here for a second with Julio, I think that you worry that your opinions aren't good, and I think that that's whack.
It's
'Cause-
actually
Wackadoo.
because you three pieces of shit talk all the fucking time, and I can't say shit, else I'm gonna fuck up your trains of thought, you ADHD pieces of shit.
That's good. You need to do that. You need to do that.
Yes,
Like, I need
jump
the
in and be like,
train.
stop. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you need that. Yeah,
You need to
I
I
shut
got something to
up.
say. Shut the fuck up. Like,
yeah. I chilled out since I've been taking a break from drinking for like 3 months, so I'm a little bit less. When was the last time we had an "It's all words" moment? Huh?
They're still, it's all words, they're just coherent now.
All right, I'll take that one. I'll take that one.
It's like, oh, this makes sense.
Yeah, instead of like it kind of feeling like it should make sense.
Yeah.
Maybe I just didn't hear it right.
You've just removed some words in between the words that you were trying to say.
A lot of the filler. Yeah, just
Yeah. So now you've
Fuck
got
it.
it. You've got it right. You got it.
Yeah.
The right sequence has been achieved.
It's a good algorithm.
working on it, man.
we
It's
can
a work
pass
in
the mic to
progress.
you, Julio, and be like, what's wellness to you?
A really thick steak, cooked well
There you go.
done. Not like well done, but like well done. I don't know, honestly, just feeling like it's a pleasure to wake up in the morning. It's definitely more wellness than anything. Like, oh, I can do this today. Even though the day brings you shit, just waking up the next day, all right, let's do it again. That feels like, well, I know it's probably unhealthy as shit, but to me, it's like, oh, I made it. I survived. Let's go again.
That's gratitude, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's a level of gratitude right there.
Like
You
the
wake up,
base
you're,
level. Like, oh, I'm alive.
but gratitude adds up. So again, if you have those base levels, like
Yeah.
it's again, it's the pennies, right? It's filling up a bowl with marbles of gratitude kind of thing. So they all add up. Like not one thing. There's no magic bullet in gratitude. So it's like if that's wellness to you, like that's awesome. Because I think wellness, like as you just said, like a well cooked steak, like those are things that like you're like, I'm grateful for this. Like it brings me a sense of joy. Like it shows how different wellness resonates with people, how unique it can be for each individual.
Truth. Yeah, you said pennies, and I just want to go to Pab's house and steal all his pennies.
Stop stealing my pennies. All right, hoarding them till they're ready. All right. The problem is,
Until they're ready.
The problem with my wife and I is, all right, since we're both introverts, we hoard our pennies, and then when it's like time for a social interaction, we give them away so fast, but we run out super fast. And like it's like, okay, well now it's time to go back. We gotta go. See you later. Kid's tired. We're leaving. Peace out. It's like
So,
yeah, we just can't pace ourselves. So we social interact like super fast, and then it's like, no, that's it now. Too tired now. Can't do no more.
understandable. I don't
How
know.
often do you have a steak, Julio?
What happened?
How often do you have a steak?
I haven't had a steak in probably more than a year.
It sounds like you're overdue for a well cooked steak.
You are correct, sir. It's been a while.
I need you to eat one for me.
Yeah, you can't do it. Sorry, Babs.
I need you to eat one for me, and then I need you to describe it in great detail.
And I'll eat one for Kyle. Kyle's vegan. Julio, just
Oh,
come
man,
down
I had
and
an-
grill, baby.
Yeah.
An amazing
You get down
seitan
here.
steak. Yeah.
Oh,
there you go.
seitan?
Grilled steak at home. Yeah.
Hail Satan.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts.
So there's
Eat my
a lot
core.
of good veggie. There's a lot of good veggie dishes. We shouldn't. I mean, we joke, but you know, there's good things too. I used to eat a lot of bad shit. I used to eat like terrible. My metabolism used to be really crazy high, and I used to be like, it's fine for me to eat 10 eggs and a pound of bacon in a single sitting, and my heart's not going to explode.
No.
Then I met the wife. And she was kind of like, doop, doop, doop.
Slow it down.
You might be okay now, but you're gonna be 30 soon, and now I'm almost 45, so it makes sense. You gotta, yeah. But the thing of, I fought the change at first. That was the worst part.
Yeah.
And that seems to be like a running theme. So
Well, we're all adverse to change.
Yeah.
Everybody's
True
adverse
that.
to change. Like,
It's
and I think that's a
uncomfortable.
hard thing. Yeah, when it's like making, I think again, some of these like wellness changes in our lives that will ultimately benefit us. Like, Plastic Model Mojo is talking about how long it took him to like resign from a company, and it's like whether we need to or not, like change is really difficult, and a lot of times people just stay in a rut because they don't want to change something that could eventually kind of give them a leg up or completely
Yeah.
change the trajectory.
Yeah, comfortability,
And
baby.
so,
Holy cow,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Well, my wife and I were vegetarian for a while and started eating more meat. And then I got sick and it was like, I've got to go back to eating meat. And then got a dietitian this year and she was like, you're way under eating. And I'm already eating a lot for my size, or at least I felt I was. And
Right.
it was just like obnoxiously large portions at a certain point. But that change really helped me begin to get a hold of my health a lot more.
Well, that's fantastic. And it's amazing
Yeah.
how much your health can, really affect your mental health and vice
Oh
versa,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
huge, big time.
Yeah. Depressed or over anxious and stuff like really fucks with your body's ability to process nutrients and just like, what you do. Some people stress eat, stuff like that, so.
Yeah. Well, I had what was called relative energy deficient syndrome. So it was under fueling for how much my output was, which causes
Oh, sure.
depression, causes
Oh,
reflux, causes anxiety, like all of these things. You're like, there's no, like you get reflux from overeating or like eating late at night, like, and
sure.
it was just from under eating.
Got you. So like what's your output? Just out of curiosity, what's your output? Like what
Oh, I
normally?
mean, when I'm really working out, 25 to 3,000 calories a day.
Right on. Because I average 35 to 4.
Yeah. So,
Now,
like
just
it's a lot to
yeah.
meet those fuel needs. Like,
And I slowed down. So I was probably like 6'7" at one point, just from all the skateboarding and everything. I was like maybe 2% body fat, but I was doing all this gymnastic shit. So I was just like a fucking tank. It's just,
yeah.
yeah. And I was just killing it. Like, it didn't matter. I could drink a 20 pack of beer. It didn't matter because there was just like, it's just the furnace was going,
Yeah.
And
Yeah. When I'm running regularly and biking regularly and lifting regularly and all of that, yeah, it's just a furnace. Like it's in and out kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like Asaki's saying, like a change will cause a ripple effect, either good or bad, but it's a leap of faith is what's driving it. Like, and sometimes those changes are good and sometimes those changes are bad. Like, but making those changes will educate you, give you the understanding of like what's needed.
That's true. And I guess it also ties into the honesty thing, because even if you do make the decision, you have to be honest with yourself, whether, down the road, whether it's a good decision or a bad decision.
Yeah.
We all have to face that too.
Yeah. I put off for getting a health team together for years because I was just adverse to it. I was like, I can do this on my own. And
Dude,
I couldn't. And so making that change
seems to be
completely changed it.
better. I mean, you sound like you're doing better. I had no idea, the dire straits you had gotten yourself into, but it makes sense. And I can
I weighed like 107 pounds.
Oh my goodness, bro.
I lost 20% of my body weight in like 4.5 weeks.
Fuck.
Damn.
They were like, doctor was just straight up like, she didn't even play around. She's like, you probably have cancer. I was just like, okay, like,
holy shit. God,
yeah.
damn.
Well, no, because that's what
that was 2 years ago. Yeah.
Shit, right? Wow, that's so insane.
Yeah. So it's just kind of been like really understanding the needs that I had, and just really having to give into those. And my wife was like, basically, you have to stop working and really focus on yourself. And so, yeah. And, and I have my own kind of my own issues, I would say, with like health professionals and stuff like that. I think, again, kind of circling back around to the, the wellness phenomenon and all these things where it kind of is like, is it worth it? Will it work? And all I can say is like, it will work. And like, it might not be the right professional. It might not be the right person that you're working with, but ultimately seeking out some professional guidance in some way when you ultimately feel like you're at a loss can be super beneficial.
True.
I've been meaning to ask this for Kyle. What is a vegan dish that brings you joy?
Yeah.
Um, actually, this is a good question because Friday I was in Chicago and I tend to, when I'm in the city, go to the vegan restaurants. And I made a comment to my wife. So we have a cafe where we used to live in Chesterton, in Indiana. Tire Lily. We frequent there often, and we used to go to the city almost every weekend. So that was the times we were spending together when we were in first dating, and we would go to this place called Kitchen 17. I don't think it doesn't exist anymore. If it does, they've radically changed, and we haven't gone in years. But they used to have this barbecue seitan sandwich. So it was kind of like to compare it to a traditional dish. It would be closely related to like a mixture between a Philly cheesesteak and a pulled pork barbecue sandwich.
Yum.
Like the flavor palette of a Philly cheesesteak, but the ingredients of a barbecue pulled pork sandwich, and it was amazing. Like, the place would occasionally like change its menu items, and they would take that off, but Dom, the chef, would make it for me if I asked. He's like, "Oh no, don't worry. Even though we took it off the menu, I'll make it for you." And it was always like super tangy, and the barbecue sauce with a little hint of spice. Like it wasn't the prominent part of the flavor. The barbecue sauce was, but it was nice to like have that, and it was so good. The bread was amazing. Had a nice little toast to it. It was like a French bun, um, and that was a dish that I thoroughly enjoyed. I would eat it like crazy. If it still existed today, I would have gone there. The place I did go to was this place called Cafe 53 on 53rd. It's all right. I enjoyed it. It wasn't bad. But back to bringing up Tiger Lily, we went there over the weekend and I had a Western burger from there. And I like kind of reminded myself, I miss going to Chicago to get vegan food, but half these places kind of suck. Either they haven't changed their menu in years, or I feel like the quality versus price isn't there anymore. I was like, but Tiger Lily, all these years we've been coming here, they've changed things about their menu. They've, gone through some hoops and ladders with, COVID and getting manpower, but they've always been consistent about their quality. Like the food is always amazing. There's not a single dish I haven't had that wasn't great. Um, and yeah, it's like that Western burger or that barbecue Satan sandwich from Kid 17. Those were like in fucking heaven. It's great. I've probably the best things I've eaten in my life, even before I made the transition. Nothing against steak, but just certain things that just have like a taste to it. It's like, oh my god, how do you
Oh,
make
yeah.
this? Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, there can be some amazing vegan food.
there is.
You-
We go to this Thai place. It's got great stuff as well.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
A lot of tofu kind of thing, or
I
seitan,
don't.
or
I don't know what they use to make their beef and broccoli. It's some
Okay.
seitan, I'm assuming, based on how how it looks. It's great. I should probably go there because that's also the place that hasn't failed me.
there's what's the large melon? I'm forgetting it right now.
Oh, are you thinking
The
jackfruit? Jackfruit?
Jackfruit.
Oh, jackfruit. Yeah, jackfruit.
Yeah.
You ever do jackfruit like pulled pork?
I have. It's really good, though it doesn't hold. My one complaint about the pulled pork jackfruit substitute is it doesn't have the same consistency as standard pulled pork. Like shredded isn't the
Yeah.
same across
Right.
substances. It's not bad. I don't the I guess the flavor is what's kind of missing in that note, but it's good. I'll eat it. There's only one thing I won't eat in terms of meat substitutes, and it's called tempeh. It's like a soy product. I don't. It's
Yep.
like eating rice pudding. I'm not a fan. That's the consistency taste. Not a fan. Can't do it.
Speaking of like meat replacements, I remember a couple of years ago I had sounds so stupid now that I think about it, but I had a what do you call those? A plant-based Whopper from Burger King.
Oh yeah,
Um,
a
'cause-
Impossible, or
Whopper.
Yeah, an Impossible Whopper. Yeah, I hadn't had anything even remotely beef based in gosh 5-6 years at that point, and they had just released it and I was like, oh, let's try it. I want to, because I haven't had this and I haven't had this flavor in a while. I want to see if I remember it. I remember taking a bite I cried. I was in the office too, and we have like an open office. And people were just watching me bawl my eyes out. This Whopper. It wasn't even that good now that I think about it, but it was like just that flavor. It was like, oh my god, this is like it just washed over me like some like I was baptized or something. And it was like this is amazing. This is the best thing I've ever had. I've never and yeah, just thinking back on it, it's like it wasn't really that good, but it was the closest thing I've ever had to beef in a long time, almost a decade. So yeah, just
I'll
that
have
brought
to
me
make
joy.
you one to be better than the Burger King one.
All right,
Actually
Kyle.
made burgers earlier, and it was the same Impossible patties. It's better
Impossible
home
patties are
cooked.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do it on like a flat top?
Yeah, I just did it over the grill or the stove on a frying pan. I prefer they cook better in a frying pan rather than over a grill.
Mhm.
Just because of how the way the juices are and the way
Yep.
it sears on the outside. Personally, I like the Beyond patties more because they have a more they
Interesting.
cook similar to ground beef, while the Impossible one for some reason it sears on the outside, so you get kind of a crunchy outside while you have a juicy center. I don't understand why it does that because real beef doesn't do that. It either gets dry entirely or you keep the juice at a low heat. So that's my one gripe about the Impossible patties, but Beyond Beat brats too. Don't sleep on
The
those.
Beyond
Those
Brats are awesome.
they're so good.
Yeah.
Leo,
They're
we're
really good. I do
dramatically
like
outnumbered, man.
I like cauliflower.
Ooh, some fried cauliflower is great.
Yeah.
It's fried chicken.
We got a bang bang cauliflower down the street from us, and it's like a sweet and sour like fried cauliflower. It's amazing.
Mm.
Crazy.
I like bread.
Like veggie beating.
I like bread. Yes. I was stoked
That's
when my
fine.
dietitian was like, half your plate's going to be carbs. I was like, fantastic. She's like, eat more bread. I'm like, I'm with you on that.
You got
Hey
it.
man, my dietitian was like, "Stop eating carbs, man. Too much bread. Calm it down. Too much rice. Too much starch. All right, let's dial it back a bit." It hurt my feelings. Broke my heart. I was like,
Sorry.
I thought you liked me.
I am
Well, I think to that
sorry.
point, it seems like food in general is a real kind of source of wellness for all of us.
Oh yeah, yeah, man.
Sure. I guess.
Feeds the soul.
You don't get excited by dinner or going out, Brian?
I mean, we don't really go out. Like there's been my life's been through a ringer for a while. So yeah, there's a lot of weirdness, and then pandemic on top of all that.
Yeah.
It's been
Really
wild.
shut everything down.
Yeah, so we don't really and then it's just not. It doesn't really happen. I don't eat. I don't treat my body very well. So, like, if Colleen's not in the house, I don't eat regularly. Like, when I'm out doing stuff, like if I'm just here, I'm just here. I'm just sitting at the fucking workbench. Like, I'm just drinking coffee.
The joys of ADHD,
water,
right?
and like, yeah, I'm
Coffee
not
and
doing
water.
it. Yeah, I'm not like, I'm not gonna like have a Barks root beer or fucking Dr. Pepper or something. But yeah, I'm not burning calories. I don't really need to. I mean, I am though. That's the deal. Like I got.
You are, yeah. Like when you just sit there, yeah,
yeah,
your brain, I think,
calories
burns like
today.
500
sitting at the
calories a
workbench.
day.
Yeah, 3,300, and I'm at the workbench. So
You're like, it's been 13 hours since I had a solid substance.
no, I mean, yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I don't know what that is. If that's dumb justification, it's probably stupid. I should get a nutritionist, but I don't have insurance. Intermittent fasting for the win. Not exactly, but when I'm out and about,
Yeah.
I've changed my mentality. And so what I used to do when I was out working, the stuff that I'm doing now, I would pack like a hearty lunch of, a sandwich, deli meats and cheeses and like, plenty of greens and bread and, mayo and mustard and the whole fucking 9 yards and like, a starchy little thing of chips or something. And like, maybe a piece of fruit if I'm lucky. I'll have something like that in there too. And like whatever. And I changed that over to almost entirely just fruit. And like I'll have a couple. Usually take like a couple of sticks of cheese with me, like cheese sticks, like whatever, string cheese or whatever. I just eat them like a barbarian. But that's because it's got it's got fat in it and it's got protein in it, and then that accompanies a banana and like an apple and an orange or like a nectarine or peach or whatever, seasonal fruit, whatever, simple stuff like that. But I do that for like in the mornings. I get up and I only have like a couple of eggs in the morning. I used to eat bacon with every fucking meal, like every meal, bacon and cheese and mayo, every meal.
Yeah.
Please and thank you. Right?
I could just
Sometimes the
eat
bacon
bacon
was
and
with
cheese.
beef, and sometimes it was with like bacon was with ham, and then a different kind of ham, and then a different kind of ham, and then it was just like keep throwing this stuff on, keep throwing this stuff into you. It's like we put into us, we become. So
Ryan,
I
have
respect
you-
the vegetarian thing. What's that?
Have you ever had hot pot before?
Hot pot?
Yes.
No.
Hot pot. No? Have you guys ever had hot pot before?
Yeah.
Okay, so Dev's had hot pot. So is Julio. Julio, you've had hot
Yeah.
pot. How much joy does that bring you?
It's good joy, especially if it's
It's
spicy.
Yeah.
good, hearty joy, right?
What is hot pot?
We gotta take Brian hot pot. So essentially,
Yeah.
right, the hot pot is
There you go.
is essentially an Asian cuisine, right? Where they you sit on the table with like a gas stove. It's usually a gas cooker or range,
Uh-huh.
and they bring out a massive bowl of broth. Right, depending on what you order, is different types of broth, or you can separate into different broths. And they bring out a whole bunch of ingredients, and then you cook the ingredients using the broth, and then you eat.
Sure.
Essentially, all that stuff. But
Big
it's
soup.
big soup. It's essentially big soup, but depending on what you cook, you can also just eat it with rice. You can eat it with a whole bunch of different things, and it's like it's such an eclectic medley of flavors that I think that kind of eating might benefit your way of eating. If that makes any sense. I don't know why. Just I was like, I should take Brian to hot pot.
Sure. We'll go get some dim sum or something.
There's
It's a good variety.
bunch of spots to go get hot pot. They actually have unlimited hot pot, or you can eat.
Julio, take Brian to hot pot.
Yeah,
Good luck getting me out.
it's free on your birthday too.
We can wait until the end of July next year.
No, like a really
Like sophisticated Lunchables.
Nice. No, but it's purely because I gained a lot of weight during the pandemic. My physiology shifted when I stopped doing the metal shop thing. I wasn't, grinding and lifting hundreds, if not thousands of pounds of steel and, using all these tools and doing all this stuff. Like, yeah, I was still staying active, moving around and that kind of jazz, but it wasn't the same level of output. So I also realized that I was eating like these packs of ramen that are almost like 500 calories and like 30 grams of fat. And I was eating at least 2 of those per meal when I was eating them shits. But I gained, my body changed. I lost a lot of muscle. I gained a lot of fat and a lot of visceral fat and stuff like that. So I needed to make the shift. Like I was having issues with what the alcohol was doing to my body. It wasn't that it was affecting my life. It was that it was affecting my physiology, which is why I took the break from it. Like, essentially I got up and I was walking around after I had like, a several day bender of whatever, maintaining my shit, but just killing it. And I looked in the mirror and like couldn't see my ankles, and my feet were all swollen and like my calves were all swollen. And I was like, I had like a moment of panic, and I realized that, and I knew that it was really hard driven from what I was doing to myself with alcohol. So I was like, that's it, man. You got to stop. You got to reassess it because it isn't healthy. For one, if I can drink that much, I'm just wasting money. It's not doing anything for me. I don't need to get drunk. It's just stupid. I'm not valuing it properly, right? So I had to sit myself the fuck down and be like, just stop it. And I did. And it was, yeah, exactly, right. And it's good. And then I started to see other health benefits and realized that there's been this long chain because I've been drinking every day for
100 years.
like, yeah, it feels like it. Might as well been, whatever, easily a decade, so it's like not necessary. and I kind of forgot that. It became so much like whatever. It would be like I'm up.
Yeah.
Pandemic was real bad because it was like, fuck it. Plus the whole thing with the job was fucked me up too, but I just lost that. So it's like, we're starting to drink by beers at 10. Like, whatever. And then you drink until 2 a.m. and then get up the next day and do it again. But
That was my
it's-
advertising years.
Oh yeah, well no, it'll do that to you. That especially that
Yeah.
advertising is crazy for stress
yeah.
and yeah.
Crack a beer before heading to work
what else?
because you got drunk the
Cooking,
night
cooking in
before, and
kitchens, right? Yeah, dude,
Yep.
right? For sure, hair of the dog for sure to kill it. Yeah, in the morning, absolutely.
Yep.
Yep.
Pandemic, I struggled with the hippie speedball.
Oh yeah,
A joint
Strong cup of coffee and a joint. Yeah.
every day.
Yeah, that was
Nothing wrong with that.
breakfast. Like,
Julio, what the fuck? Every day? What is that?
Every day.
day?
Every day.
I mean, kind of.
a little bit. You got to clean the pipes, Pabs. It's mental
All
wellness.
right. All right. I ain't judging. Shit.
It's not for everybody.
although
That's for sure.
I have found out regular daily fiber cleans the pipes a lot better than.
That's
hippie
the other
speedball.
pipe. You got a bunch of pipes. In Spanish, we call them tripas. You gotta keep your tripas clean, bro.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
No, I'm with it.
This thing right here actually has been fucking great for my mental wellness.
Yeah, your pup.
Oh yeah.
I barely see her back there the way the lighting is.
I got her whole face inside of my shoe right now.
That's awesome. Oh, I miss my dog. But the thing about pets too, we had lost our pets, all of our pets, all over the, since even this last year we lost our last pet, and so
Mhm.
it was a lonely several months in the house trying to get things together. And we had tried to adopt a dog that didn't work out, and we just recently got a pet, got a cat. Colleen picked one up. Her sister adopted it for her, and it's been like we didn't know how much we needed to have the cat in the house, and she's been super awesome. And yeah, so I hear you, Julio, and you guys know too. I know you guys got pets and stuff, and you feel the loss and you feel the love for we've all kind of been there. It's hard.
Everybody have pets here? Nice.
Yep.
They fill such a huge place in our heart, and I think it's a great place to indulge in, like escape in kind of thing, like having that animal that you can just kind of mug on and mush on. Like they really kind of bring a sense of present, like moment, I think, in a lot of ways to it.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Like make you like aware of like the now.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the now, like because they are very much in the now, and it's, I think when you really kind of focus on them, it's hard to kind of think about the past or the future, or all these things we have going on. And so I find them incredibly grounding.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And
I
they come
can't
and check on
imagine-
you too, right?
Yeah, they do. Well, and like Brian, I mean, I can't imagine how hard it would be to have pets and then not have pets, and just how empty the house can feel.
Yeah. It was bad
I'm
when we
glad you
lost
got a
the
cat.
dog. The big guy was,
Yeah.
130 pounds. So that's a big,
Oh yeah,
massive of
it's a big hole in the house kind of
Yeah,
thing. Hole in the heart,
big
hole in the house.
smelly hole.
Yep.
Still have some of his toys.
Yeah. Yep. I have our last dog. I have her toys and her collar in here in my room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, keep that shit, man. Why would you not?
Yep. Oh yeah.
I
We did
saw
her paw
something that
prints
was-
right before she passed. ahead.
Yeah, no, our vet did that too. It's like because it's it's too big. He's
Massive.
big puppers. Did you meet him, Julio?
No, I didn't get to meet
He
him.
didn't. Yeah, he passed just before we started kicking it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he's fucking nuts. That dude was so good. But I can't even remember what I was gonna say, but it was a good memory to have, so that's all that matters.
What's the name of your new cat?
Luna. We call her Looney.
Luna? Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. She's crazy.
How old is she?
She's just a couple years old. Between 2 and
Okay.
3. So
Nice.
yeah, she's real cool. She's funny. She was born at the shelter that we got her from, and she went home with one family and was like brought back to the shelter. They were like, she doesn't play well with others. And even when Colleen went to pick her up, or not even went to pick her up, just went to visit or whatever. This cool place called Catsbury in Asbury Park, New Jersey. If anyone's curious,
Catsbury.
yeah, they have just a bunch of cats. Where you can go and hang out with cats, or you can it's like a shelter where you can hang out, or you can rescue, whatever. So, yeah, and they were like, she's gonna be a lot of work. You're gonna have some troubles with her. She's not very social, right? She's kind of weird, and she has been the best cat in the world. We've not had a single issue. She's loves being held. She's loves to play. She's super affectionate. She's awesome. She's got this awesome personality. We just don't understand how. I mean, maybe it's because we were supposed to get her or some shit. I don't fucking know. But if you want to believe in that kind of that stuff, that's cool. I'm fine with it because she's a welcome addition to the household. So it's been nice, man. It's weird. Didn't know how much we needed it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think animals are incredibly good for our mental health and our wellness.
Mm-hmm.
You're a sausage.
What do you have, Kyle?
Yeah.
Cat, dog?
I have 2 cats, and they're the bane of my existence.
Yeah.
They just use and abuse me. One of our cats, the youngest one, her name is Poe. She's a black cat with a little white diamond crest. And when we first adopted her, she was kind of like a replacement to my wife's cats that had passed when we moved in together. They were old, one 20 years, one 16. And so we adopted Poe, and I had my cat Pumpkin Spice Latte. The place I adopted him had a very interesting way of naming the animals, and he looks like the drink, so that's why he has the name. Poe was a relatively quiet cat that couldn't meow correctly, and in recent months she has found her voice, and she uses it to berate me when she's hungry. Meow, meow, meow. And the thing is, too, she will only harass me. I'll leave the bedroom door open. Amy will be on the couch or on the bed and stuff. She's got full. I can see mommy's right there. Go downstairs. Go harass daddy. I want my food. I want it now. And I'm like, go to harass the woman upstairs. She can take. I'm busy cooking dinner or something. And meow, meow, meow. I'm like, all right, cool. Okay, I get it. It's 5 o'clock. We're getting. I was like, come on. And then Pumpkin, who used to be a huge pain in my ass in terms of food. He's a little fatty. Used to wake me up at 4 a.m. He's silent. He'll meow when I'm pouring the food into the bowl. Other night he's like, nah, let the little one do all my bidding. The hierarchy too. Yeah, and the guys know this, but Pumpkin has, when my daughter was born, he adopted this new thing he does where he collects all the shoes that he can pick up on his own and brings them to our bedroom door, places them like a gift. So outside of my work boots, no shoe will remain where we put it unless it's locked behind a door, because we're going to find it. I can walk out in this hallway and show you all the shoes, Scarlett's shoes, my shoes, my running shoes are just littering that part of the upstairs in front of our bedroom door, because Pumpkin, and you'll catch him in the act, or one shoe will be halfway up the stair and the mid landing because he got tired of bringing it all the way up, or he got distracted. It just he slowly brings them up. Yeah, animals are interesting, and the dichotomy between dogs and cats is, I enjoy my cats, but I'm much more a dog person. I like the relationship of a human and a dog versus a human and a cat. Even though Pumpkin is very much a dog. I mean, he lived with I used to have an American Rottweiler, and I adopted Pumpkin to be there for Hank so that he had a buddy while I was gone, and I was told cats are easy to take care of. That was a lie. But what's it called? He likes to lay on me. Like if I sit down and lay on the couch or something, he's immediately on my lap. Like he just wants to lay there, and I'm cool with it until he brings the claws out, and he knows every day I tell him bring the claws out. Only brings them out, I'm like, get off my chest. But no, having pets is good. It gives you a sense of satisfaction because there is a creature that relies on you and gives you unconditional love. that we talked about in the world we live in, that is it's like it could not be weighed in gold. It's such a powerful thing. And little poochers and kittens just
Poochers.
giving you love.
Poochers.
They're like
Yeah.
like, hey, you feed me, you do all these great things, you're amazing, you're the best. And it's like I just do what I'm supposed to do as a pet owner. No, it's great. I mean, I was thinking about it. As much as Pumpkin's been a huge pain in my ass, he's getting to that part of his life where he's getting older. He's like 12 now. I think cats of his species don't make it past 16. So I'm like, shit, what am I gonna do?
Get out of here.
But I have Hank's old collar and leash as well. I have it hung by the door. Just keeping it all this time. And eventually we'll adopt another dog, but I'm not in a hurry
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
There's a time and place for it.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And Pabs, you just have a dog, right?
Yeah, we have we just have the one dog now. We lost our bigger
big
dog
man.
back in 2022 last year. Yeah,
Last year.
2022. Yeah, we lost
Yeah.
him September. Roughly this time last year. So we just have the one now. We have like a 12-year-old Pomeranian, who's also having a couple of health issues right now. So it's like, I mean, I love our dog to death, but seeing them kind of get older and get a little slower, and it's heartbreaking. But at the same time, seeing the excitement that they have whenever you come home, or
Yep.
it's just it's something else, man. I can't. That's another thing that brings you joy, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Definitely brings
sure.
you joy. Unless they're keeping you up all night throwing up grass like our dog was last night.
Also that.
Yeah, we took her to play with the neighbor's dog who also has a griffin. So they got to be wild in the backyard, and she clearly ate a lot of grass because she was not feeling good last night.
Oh boy.
And then our
Wow.
disabled cat walks through the house, and we'll get to the other side of the house. She sounds like Frankenstein walking around, but she'll like scream out kind of thing for us to come and pick her up. She knows where we're at because she left the bedroom, but she'll try and manipulate us to coming and picking her up. So you just hear her kind of like, sounds like a peg leg, like walking through that, like a Captain Hook with a wood stump just thumping through the house as she comes through.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You get Marley's
Cerebellum
ghost.
Cerebellum hypoplasia she has.
Wow.
So a whole litter will be born with it. So it can be mild to moderate, where they'll kind of like have a little bit of a head shake to where they can't really even walk on their own. So
Wow.
she was a rescue, yeah.
Oh.
She had a tough go the first round. Family declawed her. They didn't feed her right, so she impacted all of her teeth. So those had to be removed. And yeah, we rescued her, and
Wow.
she's just the sweetest cat.
Sure.
She cleans the griffin. So that's always good. Our dog like paws at her to like clean her paws. It's hilarious. And then she'll get all mad and attack her when she tries to go away from cleaning her. Or she'll lick the dog's face, and wire hairs get like almost like they have a perm on their face when they get all wet. So it's a good pairing. But we lost so many pets right away, like just one after another. It was really hard for a bit.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. They definitely fill a spot, and I recommend anybody, if you have the time and ability, bring a pet into your life. Go rescue one, pick one up from a shelter.
Yeah, they're gonna see you as like some sort of weird omnipotent ape that like magically conjures food for them.
Yep, exactly.
That's-
And they'll be
yeah.
internally grateful for it, and they'll give you unconditional love. And
They want to run around and be a jackass and do funny things. It's amazing.
definitely cats do that. That's the best thing about cats, is they get super mischievous.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That they do.
This one's a nut.
Every night, Pumpkin goes downstairs and screams his lungs off to check the acoustic, and then comes upstairs like nothing happened.
He's
Yep.
singing the
What are
song
you
of his
doing?
people. It's a tradition.
Yeah, he's like, meow, 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 meow. I'm like, what are you doing? Shut up. You're going to wake everybody up. And he comes back upstairs, goes to sleep. I'm like, what was that all about? No rhyme or reason.
Testing the
Night
waters.
color.
Yeah, I mean it's
Man,
consistent at least.
That's his lullaby, Ode to Butthole.
Mhm.
Hold the butthole.
Shall sing you the
Cleaning
song
the
of my
eye of
people.
Sauron.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the town crier. It's letting you know what time it is. It's bedtime. It's the
It's
last
bedtime.
call.
Yep. And on that note, I should probably let you East Coasters go because it's getting
It's
late for
midnight.
you guys.
Yeah, it's midnight. Yeah.
I wanna-
That's cool.
Say thank you so much for joining me on this talk. It's always a pleasure talking to you guys and hanging out. I really enjoy it. It feels like Pabs was saying with you guys' podcast, just hanging out. So I really appreciate you guys just chilling this evening. It was nice to catch up with all of you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
us.
likewise, man. Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Thank you.
And hopefully, good.
So thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
done.
Down there.
There you
Yeah, I'm excited to see what you guys got in store for Cerulean this year and celebrate another awesome year with you guys.
Sweet.
Oh, yeah. Us too. We're all super excited. I'm so tired. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I will let you guys go because you guys are all looking tired. It's Monday tomorrow, so thank you guys again. And,
Mondays.
have a great
Thank
night.
Yeah, you too. Bye, everybody in the audience. See y'all.
Hi, guys. Take it easy.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Peace.